Hi all, welcome back. My name is P.A. Clark from Diamond Words Podcast. Today we're talking about skin and that C word we can't get enough of. That's right, collagen. Collagen is the basis to our skin and the protection that it offers us. It's tightly woven into all of those cells in between and out of them. And what it does, it creates like a blanket or a sheet over our skin. That helps protect us, but it also dwindles. And as it dwindles and becomes thinner, that's where aging occurs on the skin. As it loses water loss makes that skin tone and texture thin and more prone to lines as well. So, what exactly is collagen? Now, imagine your bed sheets. There's some bed sheets that may be 1200 thread count, and other bed sheets that may be 600 thread count. The bed sheet that has a higher count is always going to be smoother and silkier and softer. And the bed sheets that are 200 to 400 thread counts are always going to be a little stiffer, a little harsher. The thread count on your bed sheets correlates to the thread counts on your skin. The more collagen you have, the more supple and soft the texture of your skin is. If you ever look at a baby's skin, that is the softest, most cushioniest thing you can ever find. If you ever look at your skin, if you hit your 30s, 40s, 50s, you see that there's a definitely a different quality type within the skin. But now studies have shown that there is a correlation between your stress level and your cutaneous barrier, your skin. The more stressed you are, the poorer your skin is going to be. Now think back, you have a friend who's always stressed out. Does that friend ever have great skin? Unlikely. And that's because there is that definite correlation between stress and skin. So do me a favor, you have to de-stress. Find a way to de-stress every day, whether it's a phone call to someone you appreciate, whether it's listening to the music that you love, cooking something that you really want to have, having a lunch with some music and in a very bright or comfortable environment. If you're stressed at work, get out of work for your lunch and your breaks. Stress correlates to skin quality, and the more stress you have, the more or the poorer your skin quality will be. So, we're also looking at ways that we can reduce that stress or reduce the glandular production of chemicals that affect the skin. Again, because of this video cast, we cannot dive too deep, takes way too long. Bottom line, reduce the stress, improve the skin quality, look and feel better about yourself. So let's look at the collagen growth. How do we create collagen in the skin? We know that we're losing collagen, but how do we replenish that collagen? Well, let's think about it. Think of a lawn, the blades of grass in the lawn. When that lawn is brand new, say springtime has come and the lawn is growing, the blades of grass on your lawn are thicker and more supple. They're lighter and they're rich in color. As the time goes by, the blades of grass becomes thinner, becomes harder, bends a little bit more. And that is what collagen is. So, in order to improve your collagen, you've got to remove that top layer of grass, meaning you have to remove the top layer of collagen. Sometimes we can do this using scrubs or peels, microdermabrasion, microneedling, but of all of those, the safest way to remove the top layer of collagen to replenish new collagen is by something called microneedling. Microneedling in itself will produce the most amount of collagen for any dermal removal procedure in the world. Microneedling is what you must have. The more microneedling you do, the less facials you need to do. Second is scrubs. Scrubs can help remove the top layer, replenish the skin. It doesn't build as much collagen back, but what it does, it creates micro injuries all around the dermis that you're using your scrubs on. So as you're using the scrubs, you're actually making your skin worse, which forces you back to the store to buy something to correct that damage. And so you find every week you're scrubbing and healing the skin as well. So scrubbing is not necessarily the best thing for your skin or for the environment. What else we have? We have peels. Peels typically use acids to peel off the top layer. One of my problems with peels is how do we know how deep that acid burns? For example, you may have a particular acid that says, well, this burns this layer, but how often do you apply that peel? How deep and in what concentration? Unless you're reading the directions and the instructions and you're using it to a T, you will be damaging your skin. Peels are left for the professional. You must go to your esthetician to have your peels done. Do not do your peels at home. Do not do your scrubs at home. What are we left with? We have microdermabrasion. Microdermabrasion uses an abrasive surface to scrape and scrape and scrape that dermis off. Again, these are micro injuries that you cannot see. However, over time, within the next 1, 2, 3 days, the skin is glowy and the skin looks bright. This is not good for the skin. What you're looking at is your skin healing or trying to heal. So the color looks a little brighter, the skin looks a little smoother because the skin is swollen. That is not good for your skin. What we assume is good, what our eyes see as good, is actually detrimental to your skin. So please do not destroy your skin with over peels and scrubbing, microdermabrasions. What you need to be doing is microneedling, which is more of a controlled injury to the dermis without taking so much of that top layer off. When you scrub, peel, microderm, you're scraping so much of that top layer off that now you're being exposed to any little UV radiation that's out there. So the radiation doesn't just come from the sun, but it comes from the light bulbs in the house or your office as well. So if you're scrubbing and peeling and so forth, you're actually exposing your skin to more UV radiation, which causes redness, which causes your skin to try to repair itself. And then guess what? The following Saturday, you do it again, and then again, and then again. And you're actually aging yourself, requiring you now to come to me and spend thousands of dollars to repair your skin. So try not to damage your skin as much. Two important points that you must consider is how often to do your microneedling and whether you can do your microneedling at home with something called a dermal roller. But first, let's start with the second, a dermal roller. Dermal rollers were banned. And there are some countries or states that ban dermal rollers because you're creating a bigger injury with a roller with tiny needles at the end. And most of the time, we don't know where those needles are manufactured from. And when they're being exported from a different country, you don't know the cleanliness of that lab that made those dermal rollers. But the first thing we do is we peel that dermal roller out and we start scraping our skin with it. This is probably the worst thing you can do for your skin. Now, afterwards, your skin looks bright and smooth. That is the injury that you have caused to your skin, which is really, really a bad thing. What you need to have is a controlled, professional, auscultating microdermabrasion, meaning that the needles do not go around scarring your skin, but the needles just go up and down using a microneedling skin pen. The microneedling skin pens are small devices that go up and down as opposed to going around with scratches and scrapes and digs into the skin, causing further injury. How often should we do microneedling? Once per month or once every 6 weeks. If your esthetician or provider have you come in once a week or once every 2 weeks, I'm sorry, I believe you're wasting your money. Your collagen needs time to grow. So once you finish your treatment, you've got to allow at least 4 to 6 weeks for that to repair before you do it again. And then you're reaping the benefits. For example, my analogy with the grass, if you cut your lawn week 1, and before that new growth starts, you cut the lawn again, and then you cut the lawn again, you're never going to have a great lawn. But because we cannot see our skin microscopically, we do not see the damage we are creating for our skin. So to summarize, microneedling is the best number one collagen producing procedure you can do on your skin, bar none. Number two, it should be done at least once every 4 weeks or once every 6 weeks. Typically, this does not continue forever because you should give your skin a break after 4 to 6 treatments. And third, there's one more collagen growth stimulator that I must discuss. It's more on the pricier end, but it works great. And this is dermal fillers. Dermal fillers create collagen in the skin as well, right? Anything that creates injury, stretch, or stress on the skin from within requires the skin to produce collagen for that region. So dermal fillers can expand. The problem is if it's overexpand, you're producing collagen to an external surface that will remain expanded. Another analogy, take a balloon. If you inflate a balloon to an average size, and you inflate a second balloon twice that size, and you lay them on the table, you return to those balloons 48 hours later and deflate them, the one that was overstretched remains stretched. So what I mean is, if you stretch your cheeks, your chin, your jawline, your face too much with fillers, that skin remains stretched. And as you get older, your tissue cannot support that skin and you ultimately fall. Too much of a good thing is not good. So too much fillers will never be good for your face. Make sure that you are taking care of yourself for the long run and not just immediately. So dermal fillers will definitely increase the collagen, except it's not done on the outside of the skin, it's done on the inside of the skin. Now let's jump to collagen retention. Now that we've grown this collagen, how do we retain the collagen? How do we stop that collagen from depleting? How do we keep that collagen in place? The two things I'll talk about are the biostimulators, which is the Sculptra brand name and the Radius brand name. Sculptra and Radius are two biostimulators. There are other biostimulators on the market, but I will speak of the safer one in my opinion, which are the Sculptra and the Radius. Sculptra is a biostimulator in that it uses small pellets, small tiny natural particles of PLLA that's infused into the below the dermis. And with this infusion, your body doesn't metabolize it. However, collagen grows around those tiny little particles. So for example, if I can grab my little face again, I will show you how this process actually works. And we have that plus marker and the Sculptra. Awesome, perfect, love it. And what we have with the Sculptra, now, this is the product that I love. I am not plugging. I'm just saying this is my go-to biostimulator for different parts of the body, especially for my butt enhancements, where I'm reducing that hip dip and creating more structure. On the face, it's used to add volume to a face that's depleted. However, how Sculptra works is, imagine a handful of sand, and I'm going to scatter that sand across the face. So all of these little tiny particles, millions of tiny particles will go in this region. And as your body and the cells grow around these particles, we see a nice, subtle volume change. That volume change can last for a very long time, anywhere between that 2 and 3 year mark if you take care of it. So Sculptra or any biostimulator requires your body to grow, which means you need to eat well, you need to exercise, you need to drink plenty of water, you need to stay healthy for your biostimulator to do the best job. And some of these biostimulators work great in the hollow zones. Where are our most hollow zones? The lower cheeks, temple regions, somewhat in the mid to lower face. However, never have your biostimulators in the center of the face. It is a no-no to have any biostimulators in the center of the face. It is a no-no. Sculpture in the lateral face works. Now there's another product we're going to mention, and that is the Radius, which is that blue box up there. The Radius is very similar to Sculpture, however, it's already pre-mixed, and that Radius, again, a staple within the aesthetic community. Radius is a calcium biostimulator. That calcium means it's extremely safe for the body, and these products, calcium hydroxyapatite, is just not used for the skin. It's also used for dental implants or bony pathology, bony repair, anything where you need full, strong, healthy repair of the body. What can Radius do? Radius can work along the jaw angles, along the angles of the face to create height and angles. However, there's a caveat. A biostimulator only has a high G prime in the lab. Once it's injected in your face, the high G prime, which speaks about the resistance to deformation, is lost, and all biostimulators will scatter and soften and spread. And therefore, your injector must understand when they're using biostimulators, they cannot sculpt the face, they can only fill. But with that fill, you can create really nice dynamic shapes within the face to restore the patient's beautiful volume. That's collagen retention. These retain collagen. The last will be the dermal threads. And I really love my dermal threads. Dermal threads are there to create a mechanical lift within the face. So imagine I am lifting the face. Can I have a napkin or tissue? Lifting the face with the dermal filler is absolutely going to create collagen. And I'm going to show you why. If this part of my patient's face is drooping or becoming full, what happens is the fatty tissue on the inside is also falling, deflecting off of the mandible and rolling over, creating that pear shape or that fullness in the lower face. Dermal threads are designed to mechanically, physically lift these structures up and potentially placing them back where they belong as to prevent that fall. That is dermal threads, only if it is done well. If your dermal threads are done well, your results should last 2, 3, 4 years even, if they're done well. Now remember, there's also that maintenance. This requires maintenance, that requires maintenance, everything requires maintenance. Why? We never stop aging. So once we correct our aging, now there's a flow downward, and 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, you will be maintenance treating that region. I have been asked many times, well, which one is right for me? Should I have fillers or should I have sculptural, radius, biostimulators? Well, here's the thing. Biostimulators stimulate. They stimulate growth. So as a biostimulator, and please put this in your vocabulary, write it down, biostimulator, because this is what you're going to ask your injector or your provider. Biostimulators stimulate collagen, and therefore you cannot sculpt with it because the results are weeks to months down the line. So biostimulators create volume, period. Now you can create volume on certain angles to make it look higher, but they're not the preferred choice. Biostimulators are for volume building and at times height building. Fillers, on the other hand, are a lot more versatile. Fillers are more for sculpting, and different types of fillers do different things. Mostly, biostimulators do one thing, which is stimulate. Fillers are my chisels. These are my tools that I sculpt with. Biostimulators, this is what I water my lawn with. This is the fertilizer to grow my lawn. This is not to create sculptures in the garden. This will create the sculptures in the garden. So what do I mean? Filling, filling, filling versus sculpting, sculpting, sculpting. Now, sometimes we need both. Most of the time, we just need one. If you would like to know more, and I'm sure you would like to if you've reached this far, please check my other videos. There's so much information on fillers, there's so much information on biostimulators that you will be a more informed consumer without relying on the expertise or lack of expertise of your injector, because at the end of the day, you are spending your money and there are no refunds on that money. So you have to educate yourself before you enter that office to have work done. You'll be a much happier consumer at the end of the day. That is it for this episode. I think you learned a lot, and hopefully I was able to present this very clearly. If not, and you do have any questions on sculpting versus filling, please leave a comment. Hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more of me, or I might just disappear. So I will talk to you later. See you soon.